Really took. But it's lovely music. How lovely to see you. We're going to do some wonderful work this weekend. I apologize for the weather. But even we couldn't change that, although we can change many things. I'll talk idle talk until the room is full. If it isn't full, I'm going home. Are you hearing all right? Is there distance with the mic and myself? These tapes, apparently this is fairly good equipment, and I don't have a mic on my body, so it may be a tape that you would wish to obtain, and you would all know how to do that, wouldn't you? We'll talk about that later. Electronics and I just don't get along together. Are all of you good with electronics and touching Yes? Some of you good with computers? How nice for you. I cannot set an alarm clock. Profound limitations. While we're settling in, anything interesting on your flight? Anything worth mentioning? No? How many have read Mahatma 1 and 2? Oh, that's a good show. How many understood it? We're trying to write Mahatma 3 now. We're living in the tropics. So it was 107-degree difference between Grand Cayman and here. That's quite a bit, isn't it? Huh? 107 degrees? And that's allowing for all of the calibrations. You're going to have a lot of different energies coming in. I'm being advised, which is the norm, and I don't know why they're telling me that now. And a lot of these energies, because of the electromagnetic situation on this planet, to help balance her and bring her into the fourth, fifth, sixth dimension, you have a situation where, for all intents and purposes, you're seeing it on your television where there seems to be dreadful things being done from our perspective, from our finite perspective. And you also see wonderful things being done by a few. And the tendency, if one were to look at 50,000 thoughts a day coming through our systems, our 4 or 5 body system, depending on how you look at it, you can see and feel the stress on not being centered. There is nothing that can't be accomplished now within reasonable bounds of propriety if we're centered in the now or looking to the future. Most of our sciences are predicated on review of history, review of the past. And dear ones, that doesn't work any longer. It denies some very wonderful people. The feeling is, with finite practitioners, that if they review enough that's archaeologically available to them and their diggings, from that they can predict the future. That's a belief system that held us in very good stead for very long on this planet. But it simply doesn't work any longer. Otherwise, you get very, very confused. The electromagnetics on this planet are not as they were. And we will discuss at length the shifts with Sirius. That's the bottom end of what I call the FPOE. Hello, Vancouver. It's wet in Vancouver?
Wet and warm.
Wet and warm. Don't tell those things in Toronto. Dear. Yeah. Hello, my dear. Yeah, with some wonderful people. So I understand that this should be a good tape. If the mic is not on my person, and we're not overwhelming the system, I think we can get reasonable reproduction. And for all of us, dear ones, for all of us, what is a priori, what is absolutely imperative, as this group becomes one. There are a few in this room, they're delightful people who are in Portugal. And that's the first time on this planet that anyone touched in to the sixth dimension. That group we worked with for 2 years, and they were ready. But this should happen faster and faster and faster as we... Thank you. That was John Paul sending his blessings. And to you too, sir. Yes. So wherever we look now, what do we see? We see a division, do we not? We see in the name of God if this is going to go on, I'm going to have one of these. We see chemical imbalances. We see the imbalances within our 4 or 5 body system. I'll talk about a 4 and 5 body system. Probably more 5 now, because most of you have worked or are working beyond the etheric body. The etheric body has always been the light body. The light body that your predecessors on this planet and many of you have traveled with. So it's not a unique situation. One of the difficulties for humankind is they feel less than. They feel less than, and I don't know how many of you have even found this room. For most of you have a 2-strand DNA coding. And this is a colossal challenge to work with 2-strand when you're supposed to have 12. Think about it. If you ever feel at a loss, even for a moment, and you're so attracted and so disconnected with your true self, through the two-strand DNA and wonder why things don't happen more quickly before these lovely 3 days are over, we will better connect with the totality of who you are and not whom you think you are. It's very, very important. This group is working very well. There's a lot of energy coming in here now. Some of it, even those that don't think they understand what it is Brian speaks of. He says I all the time. But his I is a very little I, for personality with him is probably less than 6% of who he is. I profoundly means the greater I. That which we refer to as the I am. And the I am is all persuasive. The I am is all that is. There will be a number of different ways to tell these stories so that they become a part of your life. But Brian's feeble-mindedness has only allowed this. So our approach that's worked favorably in hastening the Earth's vibration, much to the befuddlement and the annoyance of those who believe in God. Same people who believe in God may very well be the first with this heightened energy to say, God has told me to kill the doctor that's aborting our children. Always in life, there's a plus and a minus in polarities. And the psychopathic element, and they will not be aware, they will be quite righteous in their slaughter of their fellow man, and they'll have a good feeling, we did the right thing, God told me. How many of you have heard this? God told them. We know they're not connected with God as most of you are, or that God will, the thymus. We'll talk a lot about the thymus. The thymus is wonderful. And from our point of view, everything comes through the thymus. If we're to monitor the fourth, which you all are doing now, fifth and sixth dimension. Breathe, please, gentle ones. Breathe through the earth, because the earth here, this isn't Toronto the good for nothing. Did you know? Did you know how good Toronto is? Chicago's hog town. This is Toronto the good. And there's certain points, not in a meaningful way, but it's a good city. It's a clean city. It's a decent city. But the bulk of the people here would never understand that the energy that will be raised with this number that's not yet 200 will make a profound difference, not only on the city, the province, but all of creation. Those whom we have taken into the fifth dimension, and there's nothing to stop that happening now, do it very rapidly. As long as you don't censure yourself and say, oh, I don't know that I can do this. I've tried these things before and they haven't worked. My beloved children, what happens now because of the electrodynamics anchoring on this little planet are wonderfully adaptive, wonderfully integrative, wonderfully embodied within the I Am presence that we call love. We can speak many, many ways, but in the final analysis, love is not only persuasive now, but the shifts are so dramatic into a multi-dimensional matrix of time and space for all of us here that you can have them work for you positively, and that's why you're here. There isn't one among you before this ends on Sunday whose soul will not be anchored in the thymus. The thymus, what others refer to as the heart chakra. Many of you are moved well beyond that center. But realize that everything that we say and do now is very, very rapid. The rate of acceleration is beyond most finite man's comprehension. The rate, the acceleration, the light carries what? People talk about the light and the photon belt. Light is knowledge. Light is your God source. We try to teach you that there is no separation between you, the personality, as the infinite spark of the divine, and that all-encompassing Godhead. The difficulty on this little planet, it's had many difficulties, is we've come to a time and space, time and space are man's words, man's creation. For in the all that is, they really don't exist, do they? So we implement and are able to use sequential time, lineal time. We wouldn't know where we were if we didn't have time. We're meeting Brian at 9:30, I think he said. So all of the areas that we have associated with all the areas that have had great power, great truths for us, are being dissipated. They seem not to work the way they once did. Do you have a feel of this? Day to day, and some of it comes up, and then you lose your concentration a little, and you say, oh gosh, if I could stay focused all of the time, I would live in the relative now of my own creative abilities. And then things happen quite amazingly. I've read through a number of books. I seldom read a book. And now we have what you are. This grave misunderstanding that have to give your power to Sai Baba or to Jesus or to a guru is long past. Gentle ones, you give your power to no one but yourself. That is the connection. There can be no intermediaries. Either you are of the essence of God, the Supreme One, the All that is, the I Am Presence, the God, the Goddess. You cannot be less than that. But for so long on this little planet, man has been reduced to two-strand DNA. I don't know how. I find it quite amazing that we found the ability on a two-strand DNA to get together. That's only dealing with the first two chakras. All DNA is associated with the vortex that we call chakra. These are these floating areas and very, very effective. But when you've only worked with three, the base, the emotional, and that one which the solar plexus brings in as, it's not divine will, it's lower will. So somehow we've been very, very creative in our imprisonment. Those predecessors of ours, we couldn't call them light, but for the last 300 million years on this planet was held in a vacuous state to be imprisoned. And two strands of DNA will do it every time. It works wonderfully well. We will spend time reconnecting with what your finite science refer to as junk DNA. You have these little strands on the left and you have this big piece of junk. And we're really, very, very concerned now, those with us who are American, a large part of their scientific budget goes to this effort because they're so concerned that this junk DNA might carry mutations worse than AIDS. Well, you cannot have DNA properly executed, implemented, and anchored within our systems, our 4 or 5 body systems, until they're brought in. And we will do this. We will make an attempt to become whole. Very much has led to this proposition. And even more, you're being worked on now. Please breathe, gentle ones. Open the feet into the earth. Know that Sandalphon, if you don't know who Sandalphon is a marvelous archangel. He works very well with us. Get a sense of community, of oneness. We will work totally with this group, for every focus on and in creation is a group. The I is very little. The personality is very, very small. As it connects, it becomes greater. As you unify with greater wholenesses of self, open up the crown, please. We will unify this group as one, and we will travel as one. We will become one. And as we go into the fifth dimension, it's always the power of resonance. The higher the resonance, this is the divine and cosmic law. No one will go into overwhelm. The energy is extremely gentle. Extremely gentle. We draw crowds of thousands. Some of you can see them or sense them. Go to the thymus, please. The thymus is the gland between the heart and the throat. Most systems on earth teach the heart chakra as being the physical pump, and that cannot be so. That simply cannot be so. We're too burdened for the pump. Too great a burden for the pump. So the thymus is here. Me, Jane. And a lot of you are very, very active, and a lot of you have done an immense amount of work with this thymus. And this is the heart of hearts. This is the great heart. This is the heart that says, I am. This cannot be separate of your God source, for it is one and the same. You are a seed of its experience. And with the electromagnetic shifts in our consciousness, we are able to do the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and above. Go into these densities, dimensions. It's all through vibration. It's all through resonance. I repeat, for those that don't know, it's the highest vibration in this room that raises all others, and it was forever thus. And we stay in a group of some 200 people. This group going into the fifth dimension, this is something I want to have you very, very clear on. Metatron is here now. If you look to me, and those that are very clear, they'll see Metatron through my body. Not always nice, but most of the time. And I want you to develop exactly the same positioning. Do not say, I'm not worthy, for all of you are worthy. Visualize this wonderful being, Metatron, for he helps us immensely in these areas that we don't understand. And he's not in competition. This man has no free will. This being is without free will. Many in this room, he is your right hand. You can call on Metatron for any number of things and he's there immediately. He's not in competition. His evolution is very, very different. Very, very different. So everything is a group focus. We begin to realize, then we say unto ourselves, God and I are one. And this truth resonates throughout the collectivization of who and what we are. And with some 200 in this room, as we go into the fifth dimension, I will tell you when you have done it. I will tell you after if you don't know. It's a little bit like Kilroy was here, you know, the two eyes look over the top. Oh. When you've gone into this, the energy, you can take this group to the 160th power. If you don't know what that means, it's astronomical. You could never do that in the third. Into the 160th power. So it's a huge number, isn't it? 160 times 160, that figure times times. So a small group like this now can literally shift the electromagnetics on this earth in a positive step beyond all of those beings that we refer to as darkness. But you must know what you're doing. And in time we do. And in time we see the results. Breathe, gentle ones, please. Breathe. Empty out that accumulative effect that we have now. Breathe through the thymus, out. If we talk about a 5-body system, we include the etheric body, for the etheric body goes on as a very real body. The etheric body is the body that covers you, is it not? The light body. The astral body is something slightly less. They're not dealing with the astral body, and the astral bodies are shifting. So let's just talk about the etheric body and include it in a 5-body system. Because it's physical, we have in our teaching referred to it as a 4-body system. And it's not. It's simpler to realize that this body also has construction. It is also made of 1 to 3 permanent atoms. We're not going to get you all caught up with material that Brian doesn't understand either. We're going to explain to you in the simplest possible terms how magnificent we are becoming when thoughts are things. When thoughts become things, you could not do this before now. There's such a transition now between the 3rd density and the 4th. Many are wishing to live in what they understand because it is comfortable for them. but it's also bringing up the madness that he refers to. In the name of Jesus, they kill their own because somebody aborted a child. Now this is the same kind of psychopathic frenzy that others have done throughout time. This balance is wonderful if it's anchored properly. For others, and you will see this, you must keep your heart center, what we call the cosmic heart, the thymus room, throughout creation, because you'll see so many who feel that they have done something very, very wonderful by murdering this person or causing great grief for another. They have misinterpreted totally the transformation that is so evident with all of us now. When I said a moment ago that 50,000 thoughts, it's some scientific organization gathered this, come in every day. It would be nice to have a theme, a main thread go through this and tie it to our own awakening. Because the more negativity falls away within us, it ceases to function in a positive way. Visualize the group as one. Everything in creation is the group. Will I lose my individuality? Well, you never were an individual. And most of those who say it, I would believe maybe they should. In the ultimate sense, there is oneness. And many in the personality realm or the body say, well, I don't know about this. I really don't like the idea of having to align with Frank. You know, he lives like 2 houses down. The son of a bitch has got that dog, and I don't like him. He drives a bigger car than I do, you know, and he's a crook. He's on the Toronto Stock Exchange peddling some company. Well, we're the same family. But they're not going to do it for you. You gentle ones are the ones, and it's so magnificent on this little planet now. I think it's much better. When I say I mean the little I. That's 6% of me that still carries personality. So very much better to give my free will to my collective self. And we'll get into that. We'll bring in other aspects of ourselves that are more real, in the sense of developed in their light and in their sound. And ultimately it's a collective gestalt, it's a collectivization. Even you as the individual, as the personality, are not who you think you are. I'm being told most of you know this. So more and more of mankind is beginning to come apart at the seams And it would appear that there was no hope that the poles would shift. That November the 14th that Brian speaks of would have been the end of your Earth. The Earth would have split in two parts. None of these things happen. None of these things have to happen. You're having raging storms on the surface to clear the etheric body of the planet, and that will continue. This planet will not be taken from you because we have no replacement for it. It is the lowest vibration in all of creation, certainly in this one universe. And how many of us have held in with 2 strands of DNA and that kind of imprisonment. Think about it for a moment. All of you have been functioning. Even look at the lesser areas of the Pleiades of Orion. Some of them function with 4 strands, 6 strands. Nobody functions with a 2-strand DNA except this planet. Breathe, gentle ones. Breathe clear that which we call the cosmic heart. The cosmic heart that we build is every bit as real as the heart of hearts. And for many of us, we need to clear with these discs that you see on this large picture. Discs are vortices, and discs are through our 5-body system. They're not a horn into one chakra, and that chakra gains ignition without affecting out all of our other body systems. They are loose. And particularly now where the 3 lower chakras are being raised into the thymus room. We will do this in a minute. We will get to that. I want the group to become one. To begin to look at the thymus. We've located the thymus. Make sure that you know where it is within your beingness. It's the most important gland in your endocrine system. Breathe in gently, feel the great love and compassion that's starting to be generated in this room. Get a sense that there are others here. We spoke of Metatron. We spoke of Metatron. Metatron, run right through the body. Open the crown chakra wide, please. Right through the body, down into what you call your physical earth, please. We like, you will notice the next few days, we particularly like the color of the aqua aura crystal. Good. Some of you are very well advanced. So we have these divisions that are grand divisions, and when we see it all within our own gestalt, within our own group, within our own space and time, we notice that these are not separated. There is no need for separation. We have the vibration that's heightened enough on earth to create the principle of divine resonance. It is available to you. The heart, gentle ones. You look in front of you, open briefly, and see the discs. Remember, the discs are chakras. More than one chakra, they become vortices. So you have the helix. Let's look at the heart and expand that out. Because there's great mobility now and great change in the offing of the stabilization of what were our chakra systems and what their functions were. Breathe, gentle one. She brought in Metatron. If you could look to about 8 feet for most of you, on top of your crown chakra, see a star.